Well, maybe just get into the generalities here. Like I think we've watched more than a handful of space opera stuff, and so much of it is bad. I find like it's so much of it. We talked about how Star Wars does it well, but I feel like a lot of it is this kind of era, like early 80s stuff, was big into this kind of production for some reason. They were like, let's do Dune, let's do this thing.
This movie to me feels like this movie is to Star Wars and Superman what Dick Tracy was to Batman about 10 years later. There's a big hit. There's a big hit with a comic book movie, and they're like, okay, let's do another one. What else do we got? Flash Gordon, great. Everybody loves Star Wars. Everybody loves Superman. Let's just do that, and we'll do it. We'll just throw everything at it and do it like a comic book, and it'll be great. And that doesn't always translate. I actually really like Dick Tracy, but I don't think it works here. I think that is not to be said that I think this movie could be really good now, but I think they are just swinging for a fence that's a lot further away than they think it is with a lot of this movie.
Yeah. I mean, what would you say is the biggest failing of it? You talked about Sam Jones, who's not good, but I think that there's a way to play around a main character that way. Like, I wouldn't say that Flash even has a lot to do in this movie.
No, he's got nothing to do.
He's got nothing to do. It's not like he doesn't make a grand stand and monologue or anything like that. No. He's really just sort of a character who's along for the ride as everyone else goes about their business.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other characters are good. A lot of the other actors are good. So what do you think the big problem is here? Because I think the big problem is that these space opera things, which I said at the start, just can't. All of their script and dialogue fails to hold my attention.
Yeah,
it just like washes over me, and I'm just like, what is going on? This is so boring. It's so boring. You're just watching these warring factions, and unless I missed it because I blacked out, there's really nothing interesting about the plot here.
No,
it's
nothing.
Just he shows up on an alien planet, there's a bunch of warring factions, and then they fight the big emperor at the end.
Yeah.
There's nothing else going on.
Well, the big thing in the movie is that he has to save Earth from being destroyed. And when he does that, he is informed that he did it as though he just beat an NES game, where it just gives him the congratulations, you saved Earth end screen, and then that's it.
Thanks, Flash.
The script is the biggest problem. Like it gets weirdly too into the weeds of the people and the politics of Mongo, and forgets to make you care about any of it. And I think you can get around some of that stuff if you've got a main character who is like charismatic. But he's really
bouncing
not.
between vignettes or something, and it's just about the way that the actor plays it off.
Yeah,
off of these random scenes.
Because in Star Wars, I mean, the stuff they're doing in Star Wars, while interesting, if a great example of what Star Wars could have been if they didn't cast 3 incredibly charismatic leads, is if you watch the screen tests for Star Wars. And it's these people who are trying to audition for like Han Solo and Luke Skywalker reading the most inane Star Wars dialogue ever.
Sure.
Where it's Kurt Russell trying out for Han Solo being like, "Listen, kid, I can't fly into an Emperor's thing. He's got 12 million Gentrons against me." And it's like, whoa, all this fake Star Wars, space fantasy shit. And it's so dry, and it's so, he doesn't believe it. So, you don't believe it. And but in the movie, the 3 people they cast make you believe all of it. I mean, you've got, Alec Guinness makes you believe everything he says. That goes a long, 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 long way. And Sam Jones has none of it. Dale isn't much better.
No, Dale's
pretty bad. But even if they were, I mean, like if you look at the ones who were charismatic, even the shit that Timothy Dalton says isn't interesting just because it's Timothy Dalton saying it. Like I don't know.
Yep.
It's the sequence where they fight each other on that spike thing, and then at the end, all of a sudden, he's like, "You are the one." I believe everything you say now that you, I will follow you to the ends of the earth. It's the worst like face turn I've ever seen in a movie like this. It's so, and then it's just Flash like sitting there with a dumbass look on his face, like, yeah, let's go kill the Emperor now. It's just it's the script is just really bad. It's the basest level like hero's journey type stuff, but at the same time they're trying to do way too much.
Yeah.
This felt like if they tried to do Game of Thrones as a 2-hour movie, and it was very poorly written.